Siku and Matt huddled by the frozen lake. Breath plumed white in the biting air. Above, the northern lights shimmered, a breathtaking spectacle of green and purple fire. Amazing, Matt breathed, eyes wide with awe. Never seen anything like it. Siku nodded, a shiver running down his spine. Beautiful, yes. But there was an unsettling vastness to the display, a power that felt ancient and unknowable. Ever heard that story? Siku asked, his voice barely a murmur. About whistling at the lights? Matt chuckled. Old wives' tale means bad luck, right? Siku nodded, remembering the hushed whispers of elders back in his village. They say it attracts something, something that lives in the lights. Matt scoffed. Don't tell me you believe that. He took a deep breath, puffing his cheeks. What's a little whistle anyway? Siku grabbed his arm. Don't. But it was too late. A sharp, piercing whistle cut through the silence. The air, previously alive with the crackling energy of the aurora, went deathly still. The northern lights, once a mesmerizing dance of color, began to writhe. Swirls of green and purple twisted into grotesque shapes, contorting, pulsating with an unnatural energy. A low hum resonated from the sky, growing louder, morphing into a chorus of whispers. Siku's blood ran cold. Those weren't the sounds of wind or ice. Then, from the heart of the writhing lights, they descended. Shadowy figures, tall and gaunt, with long, reaching limbs. Their eyes glowed with a cold, hungry light. Terror, raw and primal, surged through Siku. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the urgency of their situation. He grabbed Matt's arm, pulling him toward their snowmobile with a force that spoke of desperation. "We can't stay here," he shouted over the howling wind. "We have to go. Now." His voice was a mix of fear and determination as he fumbled with the ignition. The engines sputtered to life and they were off, racing across the frozen wasteland. The wind screamed past their ears, carrying with it the whispers of the unknown. Behind them, the whispers grew louder, closer, tinged with a chilling rage. It felt as if the very shadows were alive, reaching out to ensnare them. The snowmobile skidded and bounced over the uneven terrain, the narrow snow-covered road offering little traction. Each jolt sent a shiver down Siku's spine. Siku risked a glance back, his breath catching in his throat. The figures were gaining on them, gliding effortlessly over the snowdrifts, their glowing eyes burning with a terrifying intensity. They moved with an otherworldly grace, their presence a constant reminder of the danger that lurked just behind. "They're going to catch us!" Matt yelled, his voice barely audible above the roar of the engine and the howling wind. Siku's heart pounded against his ribs. He needed to lose them, to break their line of sight. Ahead, through the swirling snow, he saw the faint outline of trees. "Hold on!" he shouted, swerving the snowmobile sharply off the road and into the dense forest. Branches whipped at them, momentarily blinding them as they plunged into the darkness beneath the trees. The trees finally thinned and they emerged into a clearing. A small village, nestled at the foot of a snow-covered hill, lay before them. Lights twinkled from windows, promising warmth and safety. Siku steered the snowmobile towards the nearest house, a sturdy log cabin with smoke curling from its chimney. He hammered on the door, his entire body trembling with fear and exhaustion. The door creaked open, revealing a weathered face framed by grey hair. The old woman's eyes widened in alarm as she took in their panicked state. The forest seemed alive, its trees swaying and creaking as if whispering secrets to one another. The wind carried these whispers, weaving through the branches and sending chills down the spine of anyone who dared to listen. "What's wrong?" the woman asked, her voice trembling. Her eyes darted around the dimly lit room, searching for answers in the shadows that danced on the walls. "What are you running from?" Siku could only gasp for breath, unable to speak. His chest heaved and his eyes were wide with fear, reflecting the terror that gripped his heart. Matt, his face ashen, pointed back towards the dark edge of the forest. "The lights," he stammered. They followed us." His voice was barely a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might summon the very lights he feared. The old woman didn't need further explanation. Her eyes, filled with a lifetime of wisdom, understood the unspoken horrors that lurked in the darkness. She ushered them inside, bolting the door behind them. The heavy wooden door creaked as it closed, sealing them off from the dangers outside. A wave of relief washed over Siku as he sank onto a rough-hewn bench, the warmth of the fire seeping into his chilled bones. The flickering flames cast a comforting glow, momentarily pushing back the shadows that threatened to engulf them. But even as the old woman bustled about, offering them hot tea and words of comfort, her movements were quick and efficient, a practiced routine in the face of danger. Siku couldn't shake the feeling that the danger wasn't over. His eyes kept darting to the windows, half expecting to see the ominous lights peering in. He could still hear them, faint but unmistakable, the whispers on the wind just beyond the circle of light cast by the fire. They seemed to call his name, beckoning him back into the darkness, a reminder that the forest never truly let go of its secrets. The old woman, her name was Anya, listened intently as they recounted their terrifying experience. When they finished, her face was grim. "You were foolish to tempt fate," she said, her voice low and grave. "The lights are not to be trifled with. They are ancient, powerful, and they do not forget." She told them of the spirits that dwelt within the aurora, beings of pure energy, both beautiful and terrible. They were drawn to sound, to music, and whistling was an invitation they could not resist. Siku and Matt spent the night huddled by the fire, their breath visible in the frigid air. The crackling flames were their only source of warmth and comfort in the vast cold wilderness. Anya's stories, filled with ancient lore and chilling tales, wove a tapestry of fear and wonder. Her voice, steady and haunting, painted vivid pictures of spirits and forgotten realms. When dawn finally broke, casting a pale light across the snow, it felt like a fragile promise of safety. The first rays of the sun pierced through the dense forest, illuminating the path ahead. They dared to hope that the worst was over, that the night had taken with it the fears and shadows. The warmth of the sun brought a fleeting sense of relief, but as they prepared to leave, packing their gear and readying the snowmobile, a sense of unease lingered. The forest, though bathed in morning light, still held its secrets. Anya's parting words echoed in their ears. "Be careful," she warned, her eyes reflecting a deep, unspoken knowledge. "The spirits may have been driven back, but they will not forget. The spirits may have been driven back, but they will not forget." The mist that clung to the trees seemed to whisper of ancient grudges and unresolved conflicts. "The lights will remember what you have done." The northern lights, once a beacon of beauty, now felt like watchful eyes in the sky, holding memories of the past. Siku and Matt left the village, their hearts heavy with the weight of Anya's words. The snowmobile's engine roared to life, breaking the morning silence. Their snowmobile kicked up a spray of fresh powder, leaving a trail that quickly disappeared in the falling snow. The landscape around them was both beautiful and foreboding. The northern lights were gone, the sky a clear, cold blue, but as they rode, the memory of the lights lingered, a reminder of the night's events. The sky a clear, cold blue, but as they rode, the vastness of the landscape felt overwhelming, as if the world itself was watching them. Siku couldn't shake the feeling of eyes watching them, hidden among the trees. Every rustle of the wind felt like a whisper, every shadow a lurking presence, of whispers carried on the wind. The forest seemed alive with unseen forces, its silence broken only by the occasional creak of snow-laden branches. He knew with a chilling certainty that some things once seen could never be unseen. The night's stories and warnings had left an indelible mark on his soul, that some things once seen could never be unseen, and some debts once incurred could never be fully repaid. The forest, with its ancient trees and hidden paths, held memories and grudges that spanned generations, and some debts once incurred could never be fully repaid. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the weight of those debts pressed heavily on their minds, a constant reminder of the lingering fear that would follow them always. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this.